given, this was more than 100 years ago, 1902. So, country living has been, you know, has been given to us by God long time ago, and how many years, more than 100 years actually, and people are still flocking in the cities. They think that the cities are still a good place to live. Uh, a good example is Enoch. Enoch was walked with God for more than 300 years. Now, did Enoch live in the city? Did he resided in the city? No, he lived in the mountain, in the wilderness. He goes down into the cities and evangelize and preach the gospel, and then he buy things probably in the city and go back to the mountain. That's what Enoch did. Also, John the Baptist. John the Baptist, live in the world, in the country as well. So many people that we can think that they live in the country. So if in the providence of God we can secure places away from the cities, the Lord would have us do this. We have to do it. Let's do it. Another one also here. It says here in Last Demons 99, the Lord desires people to move into the country where they can settle on the land and raise their own fruit and vegetables, and where their children can be brought in direct contact with the works of God in nature. So it's nice to have a garden, garden, fruits and vegetable garden, The problem is winter time here. But as long as we have done our part, then God will do his. Now, remember that when Michael stands up, before Michael stands up, the national Sunday law crisis will be enforced. Will happen. Now, how long will this, crisis going to be? We cannot buy, we cannot sell. According to Early Writings 85, the commencement of the time of trouble here mentioned does not refer to the time when the plague shall begin to be poured out, but to a short period just before they are poured out while Christ is in the sanctuary. So there's going to be a short period just before the plagues are going to be poured out. So this is the crisis that, the Adventist actually has been looking for, that when this crisis is going to happen, we cannot buy, we cannot sell. So we need to be preparing for this. But you know what? A lot of people are still living in the city. Only few actually believe this message of country living. Only few people believe this. They think that it's still okay to live in the cities. But no, it's time to get out, because this thing is going to happen. That's why it says here again and again, the Lord has instructed that our people are to take their families away from the cities into the country where they can raise their own provision, for in the future the problem of buying and selling will be a very serious one. So the problem of buying and selling will be a very serious one. Now, here in Moyers, Oklahoma, we usually do groceries once a week. We go out into the town. We have to drive like 30 minutes to be able to buy our groceries. Now we do it once a week. Maybe we can do it once every 2 weeks. But what happens if you cannot do that? If you're not able to buy, in 2 weeks, that is a very serious one, right? That's why God has given us a message that we need to be ready. We need to have at least some kind of preparation, because when the national Sunday law is going to be enforced, there's going to be it's going to be a crisis for God's people, because only those who have the mark of the beast will be able to buy and sell. If you don't have that, if you don't worship on Sunday, then you cannot buy, you cannot sell, And if you, I have a friend of mine, actually, he said that I don't have to worry about buying food on during the National Sunday Law, because I can ask my wife to buy for me, because his wife was she was not an Adventist, she was not a believer. So he said that I can ask my wife to buy food for me. I don't think his wife gonna be buying for him, because once these things is being enforced, I mean, people are going to change. Their attitude will change, their character will change. So it is going to be a very serious one. We should now begin to heed the instruction given us over and over again. Get out of the cities into rural districts where the houses are not crowded closely together, and where you will be free from the interference of the enemy. This was written 1904, so more than 100 years ago. So it's been a while. This country living message has been given us more than 100 years. Revelation 13 being mentioned here, that is being 13, 16, 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So if you don't have the mark, you cannot buy, you cannot sell. This is it is being prophesied that they're going to cause everyone to receive the mark of the beast. And if you don't receive it, then you cannot buy, you cannot sell. That's why in Desire of Ages 121, it says here, in the last great conflict of the controversy with Satan, those who are loyal to God will see every earthly support cut off, because they refuse to break his law in obedience to earthly powers. They will be forbidden to buy or sell. So every earthly support, in other words, no electricity, no propane, no gas, no food, nada, nothing. So that means there will be nothing. That means the only way that we need to rely is God, and then our preparation. Of course, we need to prepare, because during this time when Sunday law is going to be enforced, it is our duty to prepare. But when probation closes, God will prepare for us. He will take care of us only after the close of probation. But before the close of probation, we have to do our part. This is our part. That's why country living is being advised that we need to follow, because when these things happen, it's going to be very hard. That's why in 1 Corinthians 10:11, it says, now all these things happen unto them for ensamples, and they are written for our admonition, upon whom the ends of the world are come. So these things are being written, for us, so that we can actually follow these things. Now, in the Bible, two situations in the past, how God's people were able to prepare for the crisis. There were actually times that God revealed to them the crisis, they prepare it, and they were actually being preserved by God. Why? Because they obey the command. Like Noah. Remember, God revealed to Noah the flood that is going to happen, right? When God actually revealed to Noah the flood, there's going to be a big flood, destroy the whole earth, and God revealed to Noah about this flood. Now, did Noah and God gave a specific of what he's going to do. Now, did Noah actually just ignore the counsel of God? No, he did not. He actually, it says here, what did Noah do? It says here, and God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. So God said, because the whole earth is so corrupt, I will destroy. And then in verse 14, it says here, make thee an ark of gopher wood, rooms shalt thou make in the ark, and shalt pitch it within and without with pitch, and this is the fashion which thou shalt make it of. So everything has been specified by God, what Noah is supposed to do. And Noah did not ignore this counsel that was given by God. Actually, it says here in verse 22, it says here, thus did Noah according to all that God commanded him. so did he. That means Noah, actually, when God revealed to him everything what is going to happen in the future, that there's going to be a flood, everyone's going to die except the one in the ark. And so Noah did. He did according to what God told him. Now, does God told us actually? Is God telling us what is going to happen in the future? Yes, he's telling us in the future already that there's going to be a time of trouble. There's going to be a national Sunday law. And so we need to prepare as well. Just like Noah prepared, It says here in Patriarchs and Prophets, page 92, paragraph 2, the Lord by a holy angel declared to Noah his purpose and directed him to build an ark. While building the ark, he was to preach that God would bring a flood of water upon the earth to destroy the wicked. Those who would believe the message and would prepare for that event by repentance and reformation should find pardon and be saved. Enoch had repeated to his children what God had shown him in regard to the flood, and Methuselah and his sons who lived to hear the preaching of Noah assisted in building the ark. So actually, Noah was not idle. He was actually, while he was preparing, he was also sharing the message. He was preaching, he was warning the people in his time, and Enoch, the same thing. And also Methuselah, they actually, they obey, and they did according to what God told them to do. So they prepared. And that's why Noah was protected. He was preserved during the flood. Now, how about Joseph? Remember, Joseph was also being, God revealed to Joseph that there's going to be a famine in the land, right? 7 years of famine, there's going to be a very serious famine. And so what did Joseph do? Actually, did Joseph just do, did Joseph was an idol? Did he just relax and, and let that famine come? No, Joseph did the preparation, It says here, at the very opening of the fruitful years, began the preparation for the approaching famine. Under the direction of Joseph, immense storehouses were erected in all the principal places throughout the land of Egypt, and ample arrangements were made for preserving the surplus of the expected harvest. The same policy was continued during the 7 years of plenty until the amount of grain laid in store was beyond computation. So Joseph was also preparing, He knew that famine is going to be very serious. You cannot buy, you cannot sell, So you need to do something. So that's why country living is being admonished for us, that we need to get out of the city and make some preparation. Because if you live in the city, you don't have no electricity, you don't have no more propane. I mean, how are you going to survive? That's why. But if you live in the country, maybe you can use some firewoods to cook your food, And so there's many things that you can do, So we need to be preparing for this crisis. The Lord, it says here in early writings, the Lord has shown me repeatedly that it is contrary to the Bible to make any provision for our temporal ones in the time of trouble. Now, remember, there's two kinds of trouble here. We have this national Sunday law crisis. We also have when this time of trouble when probation closes, right? Now, when probation closes, then God can actually take care of us. Bread and water will be sure to us, But before that, we have to do our part. Here, when the time of trouble, when probation closes, we cannot, it says here, it is contrary to the Bible to make any provision for our temporal ones in the time of trouble. I saw that if the saints had food laid up by them or in the field in the time of trouble, when sword, famine, and pestilence are in the land, it would be taken from them by violent hands, and strangers would reap their fields. Then will be the time for us to trust wholly in God, and He will sustain us. I saw that our bread and water will be sure at the time, and that we shall not lack or suffer hunger, for God is able to spread a table for us in the wilderness. If necessary, He would send ravens